What is up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us on this channel, and today we are with Cynthia Chirinda. We are going to be discussing about our way forward is Zimbabwe. Thank you so much, Pastor, for coming to this channel.
Thank you so much for having me, Kundai. And yes, Zimbabwe is going through interesting times.
Yeah, so many things are happening. So
Yes.
what do you think is the way forward, given that what is happening right now in Zimbabwe? So many things are happening, especially considering the economy, and especially considering what people, like, if you move around, you will see that people are not happy, and some people, like, it's like there's a lot of tension that is happening. So what do you think is the way forward?
Yeah, the happiness index is definitely very low. I think it's an all-time low. I mean, we saw that in January, people just going out to the street. It's them saying, you know what, we're really not happy. And I think we don't even need to read much into that. Just going into the shops, just going into any institution right now, whether it's a school, we can just really see that a lot of things are not sustainable at the moment. So there are things that are, I mean, there's a writing on the wall. I don't think this discussion should be so much about what should the government do, because I think we've been talking about this for about, and you know, experts have suggested, the ideas have been flagged. I think it's just the lack of the political will to get all of those things done. It's obvious we need cash injection, we need negotiation with our foreign lenders, we need, you know, to sort out issues of unemployment, we need our own currency, and, you know, all of those things. But until and unless we have the mind to have those things begin to change, until we have the systems that are able to get us to that place, you know, the people will remain frustrated. So I think our conversation really should be, what should the people do? And I would say to all Zimbabweans out there, you know, Zimbabweans are a unique breed, and a very unique breed, because they are a kind of species which is so tenacious, which is so resilient.
Yes.
And like I said the last time we had a chat, I think we need to use that resilience within us, begin to turn things around. So I would say, for me, the starting point is, one of my favorite scriptures is, you know, Moses is having a conversation with God, and God says, Moses, what's that you've got in your hand? And for me, I think this is what I'm saying to Zimbabweans as a starting point. What you have in your hands, what are your skills, what are your unique talents, what are those abilities and capabilities that you have? How do you convert that? How do you monetize that into something that can be used not only for your personal good, but also for nation building? So I think that would be a starting point. And so we've got our unique skill sets. That's something we can start with. And then secondly, who can you partner with? Who can you collaborate with? Because I can tell you there is just so much that can be achieved through collaboration. And I believe that for as long as we stop this habit of reinventing the wheel, because Kunda, you're doing something and I want to compete with you, why don't you and I put our resources together, and we might as well consolidate whatever it is that are our strengths, and then move forward. So I think these are things that Zimbabweans should now start looking at, to then say, how do I collaborate with what the next person is doing, and how do I stop reinventing the wheel so that we can then move forward? And then, of course, we look at just the scramble for the urban area. Now it's overpopulated, the resources are shrinking, but we've got a rich rural environment that's there, so many natural resources, and a whole lot of things that we can definitely maximize. So I would say, going forward, let's begin to think about how we can reinvest in our rural development. These are strategies that we can begin to look at, and definitely begin to harness on the natural resources that God has gifted our nation. And then we want to look at how we can then mentor one another, because there are certain skills that I have that I can simply pass on to the next person, empower that person, and then we can build a community around us, and we can actually go out there as a force and say, you know what, as a community, number one, this is how we are raising this community sustainably without foreign donor aid. No, I'm going to teach you how to do this, you're going to teach me how to do this, and as a community we can work around those strategies. Those are workable strategies, and we can begin to build the community, we can begin to monetize some of those things. So I would say, let's begin to look within. And then I think finally, for this conversation, especially to the diasporans, because I know there's been a lot of piping out of messages. Diasporans come back home and they're saying, to come back to what? To what, you know? And one thing that really speaks to me a lot is, you know, that scripture where the prophet goes to the widow and he says, go and borrow vessels. And one thing I can tell you is that people in the diaspora have gone out and they've borrowed vessels. So how then can we reinvest those vessels back in our nation. So I was having a conversation a few weeks ago with some diasporans, and they said, you know what, Cynthia, how do we reinvest? How do we even entrust a system, you know, which is failing to govern what it is that they've got with what our hard worked labor? So I'm saying, let us begin to look at new systems that we can develop, that we can become custodians of. So I think there's a lot of thinking and rethinking and relearning that can go into this whole process, because like I said, it's no longer about what can the government do for us, but it's a question of leading from where we are. So I think for now, those would be, for me, the critical major action points for the average Zimbabwean.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving your time, spending your time with us on this channel. So we're going to be seeing you next week, and I believe you're going to be having more things that you can tell us, especially the average Zimbabwean. So thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely, Zimbabweans, let's lead from where we are, wherever you are. Look at what is it that you've got in your hand, and let's start working with that. Instead of competing with one another, let's collaborate, and we are a powerful, commendable force that the world can reckon with. Cynthia C, signing out.
Thank you.